quotation marks. So these are the 17 new changes that are very critical that we need to master for version 17. Okay. So can you go back to Google at the top, and then we are going to erase that and then search for this one. Can you search here?
Yeah.
APA version 17 free PDF free download. APA version 7 PDF free download. So with that file, export that to your desktop so that you can immediately refer to it when there is a paper you will read. Okay, where is it?
No.
Here. Edition, APA manual, PDF free download. So, download that and then put that in your desktop. So, you can have a handy, ever ready reference. So what are you doing? You transfer the file to your computer so you can use it anytime you need it.
We already installed over and edited. Okay, when we install a new one.
Okay. So what did you learn this afternoon? There is now a version 7 and use it. And then you download that file so that you can get the whole thing for you. This one. Download the style here. The file. So you don't need to buy. You don't need to go to LibGen. Just install it and then use it. For free. Okay? So many things to learn. So many requirements for new knowledge. Okay. After this, I'd like to introduce to you the concept of Survey Monkey. How many of you have heard of Survey Monkey?
Survey.
Okay. How many are using it now? Alright, so go to surveymonkey.com, sign up for an account. Surveymonkey.com. Yes. Let's sign up an account. So everybody say this. Today, if your respondents have emails or Facebook accounts, you should no longer be printing your questionnaire for them to answer. Use SurveyMonkey and or Google Docs to do that. Okay, so I'll give you time to, so the beauty of SurveyMonkey is that you can put in, there's a section there for basic information, so you can just type in, if your question is yes or no, there is a section there, you just use the template. So you just flow your question into the instrument, and then you can export that to your Gmail, and then you send it to your people using the Gmail. And then when they open the Gmail, they will just answer it, and then click submit, and then it's already in your database. No more people. So I would like to suggest to you that if you do a study here in Phnom and your respondents are educated students or teachers, do not use the hard copy, use the SurveyMonkey to increase your appreciation of technology. Okay. You can finish your, you can even finish your sending of the questionnaire and answering the return to you in, an hour or two. So after 2 hours, you're done with your questionnaire.
Now we could break 15 minutes.
Yes. Electronic means instead of printed copy. Because you don't anymore need to travel and see the person. He will just open his email, he will just open his messenger and it's there. Answer from there and then submit and then it's there in your messenger. What is that? Fast. Okay? So take a break, don't worry, we're still here. Okay. And then from the content of the answers, you're going to analyze their answers. That is content analysis. Because it does not talk about experience, so it is not phenomenology. It's just ideas, and so it's content analysis. And I'd like to put this across that there are two kinds of data sources. The primary data source and then the secondary data source. Okay, what is the difference between a primary and a secondary data source? Because the sources of data are included in the method section. Okay? So what is primary data compared to secondary data? What's the difference between the two? Yeah. Have you heard of primary data?
Yeah.
Secondary data?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the two? No.
Researcher, they collect the data for themselves, so we call primary data, and when we get the source from the document or from another research, secondary data.
So if I go to an office and collect the data myself, will that constitute the primary data?
No.
Okay. That could still be secondary. Okay. Primary data is you are the ones who created the opportunity for the data to come to you. For example, you interview. When you interview a person, then he talks to you. What he talks to you are not available before. And so you're getting the source for the first time. Get that? That is primary data. But when you go to the office of Dr. Chan and then get documents there, and then you are using the documents, you did not produce the data. You only collected it. So you did not create an environment where the data will come to you. So it is called secondary data. So secondary data refers to existing documents, okay, which you did not create through a method, and you only use it for your research. That is secondary. Okay. Now I would like to dwell on authenticity of secondary data. Authenticity. Can you write the word? Okay, so A-U-T-H-E-N-T-I-C-I-T-Y. Authenticity of secondary data. Okay, I'll give you an example. Everybody say this. I want data on actual records of students for their attendance and absences.
And then object.
And that will be taken from class records of teachers. So if I photocopy the class record of the teacher, will I get the data? Yes, because you have photocopied. Okay. Is that secondary data? Yes or no? Because that is still considered to be not evidence. So how can we make it evidence? There's got to be a stamp, okay, released.
Yeah.
By who? By the teacher. So that the obtaining process of the secondary source data is legal. So you cannot just come to the office, can I borrow this for a short time? So I will leave. And then once you get them to the company, return the original. That's not secondary data. Because the releasing authority is important to be indicated in the first page. Okay, so in the Philippines, you have a culture like there is a stamp that says certified true copy. Have you heard of that? Certified true copy, meaning documents are photocopied, for example, in the registrar's office, and then stamped by the registrar, certified true copy. He will sign and indicate the date of the release. So which means that the secondary data now transferred in your possession is legal because you are authorized to collect them. Okay? What are exemptions? Would you like to know? Publicly accessible documents. So for example, if you go to the website of your center and there are information there already, you don't need to go back to Dr. Chan and have it stamped because it is already publicly available document. So if it is publicly available document, you are telling the persons use that without our consent. Because that is covered by, please write the term, public knowledge license. Have you write that? Public knowledge license is the authority to use publicly available data in the web. What's the name of the license? Public knowledge. Okay, for example, you found a questionnaire in the web. Are you going to ask permission from the author?
Yes.
The answer is no. No need for permission because he put that in the web. All you need to do is indicate the URL. The URL as the source. Because if he did not want other people to use that, then he should not upload that in the web. So that's the basic idea, that when something is found in the web, okay, it does not need permit. Because it will now be covered by what we call as public knowledge license. But if the questionnaire has an answer key, and the answer key is not uploaded in the web, then you have to contact the author so that he will give you that answer key. Okay, so that's the more important thing there that I'd like to remember. We're dealing with secondary sources. Yes, sir.
For example, the article or journal that put in an online journal, and then we use, for example, sign up to download it. So should we ask permission from the author?
No. Because there is a way to document the bibliography. You just copy and then put that in Google Scholar and then click the logo quotation mark and get the bibliography. So no need. Yes. So all journals that are found in the web that you can access freely, okay, do not need permission if you use it. Because if you do not want other people to know, why should you upload? But if somebody else is uploading in your behalf and you did not know it, then there is a case. We call that silent line. Intellectual property theft. So for example, you wrote a thesis, and then we are friends, and then I like your thesis, so I say, can you give me the file so I can read it? I like your study. You give me the file. Without your knowledge, I upload that in the web, in the ResearchGate. And that is unauthorized. Okay. But with that, you can actually ask ResearchGate to delete it for you, because the access is unauthorized. But if you own it and then you upload it, and then there is no problem. Yes, now your question.
Yeah, like you said, any document that you can use it freely from the internet, from the web. It's
Covered
okay.
by.
No need to have permission from the outside.
No.
Yeah, but in here we use sign up to pay in order to get a document. But actually, like for example, in Google Scholar, we cannot get it freely. We have to sign up based on the institution in order to get the email or a password to log in.
Okay. So if you are using Sci-Hub, you copy the title and the author,
Yeah.
okay, and then go to Google Scholar, search, and then you click the double quotation marks, and then the answer, that's the one that is used in Bulgogi. You are not going to use the URL of Sci-Hub.
But we cannot.
Because now we are not going to use the URL anymore.
We need to go through to the site because we need the
to read the whole article.
The full text.
Yeah, but what we are talking here is the documentation. Okay, so the case is you went to Sci-Hub because you cannot get the document for free.
Yeah.
So that's why you decoded it. That is what we call as scaling over the paywall. So there's a paywall and then you scale over. Okay. So in terms of your reference, you will not use the URL of Sci-Hub. But you copy the title of the article of the author, you go to Google Scholar, and so the source becomes legitimate. Because if you're going to use Sci-Hub, it's the URL where you got that. There's no editor. Because that only happens as a unique circumstance of countries that are developing that cannot pay for the paywall. But when I visited Britain, oh my God, when you go to the library, I went to England some 20 years ago. That was a very long time. And I was humiliated by my ignorance. I was a scholar of the Rotary, you know Rotary? So I was brought to the university which is specializing in aerospace engineering. It is called, what was that university? Was it the University of Buckingham? And then I was brought to the library because I wanted to see the library. I didn't find books. No book. Only computers. And so I said, where are your books? And then the librarian was surprised at my question. And so she told me, books, you mean the archive? The archive. And so I said, yes. Although I wasn't sure, so I said, yes. Okay. Which century? Which century? Because he said, we have 15th century of Jeffrey Chaucer and things like that. Because to them, books means it belongs to old collectible copies. And so I said, no, the books now, we don't have it here because it occupies a lot of space. Which book you want? Because we have all e-book copies. So before e-book came to Asia, it's already there in England. And so here is a computer and there is some kind of a scanner. So when I want this book, I will just use my card with the university and then scan and then pay any book around the world that I want. So if this book comes from Stanford University, scan and then input, it's charged to my account as a student. So it's so easy. Because in these universities, there is no question about access. So Sci-Hub and LibGen were precisely created in order to equalize the disparity between the rich countries that can afford and the non-rich countries, because I don't want to use the word poor, okay, it's politically incorrect, and the non-rich countries to have equality. Because they said that why should research be paid? So, can everybody say this? There is political economics, of research.
of research,
Okay. The governments
the government,
pay the research grants.
and the research,
But when it is published,
public,
the public has to pay for it. So that's political economic inequality. That is why Harvard created a policy warning people inside not to publish in Thomson Reuters, in Scopus, because of the political economic inequality. They said that, why should research be purchased? Do you know how much is the subscription of an oncology journal? A journal for cancer? $25,000 a year. There are thousands of journals and Harvard cannot pay for all of them. I mean, that is a very rich pool. Okay? So, that means to say that on our part, we are not guilty because we are a developing country and we cannot pay. So we can access. That's an inherent right, a birthright to be able to access scientific information. But if I come from Norway, if I come from Japan, if I come from Italy, I come from the US, from the Netherlands, from the UK, why should I use SciHub? I come from a rich country. My country should be able to afford that to me. I don't have to scale the paywall. Right? Okay. So, that is why, to my students, I became controversial to my students because I said that if, and everybody say this, if you're a woman, say that, if you're a woman,
if you are a woman,
and then you get pregnant at an early stage, fly to the US or any rich country, and deliver your baby there. It will automatically acquire the citizenship of the rich country. Yes. And so he will have double citizenship. The citizenship of the mother, the land of his birth, and then, for example, the US or Europe. And then once the baby grows, he will become the responsibility of that government. Free education, free housing, all of those. That is why, can anybody say this? Are we aware that the US has the highest percentage of unwed mothers in the world? It is economically good not to be married. For example, if I'm a woman, and then you are my husband, and then we get married, when we produce the children, we will pay. But if we are lovers, no marriage, I produce the child, the government gives me the car, the house, the stipend for gas, grocery, because I am an unwed mother. So who else would like to be married? When you will have to pay for everything that you need. So in their country, there is always an advantage in being unmarried and yet to produce children. So you will begin to produce another child, you will have 5 children, each one will have a stipend. All because you don't have that sheet of paper marked marriage license. So everybody say this, the future of a child does not begin with opportunity. It begins with his passport. Yes. Because you have 3 children. One is born in Brunei by a Bruneian parent. What happens to the child? Everything is free in the world for him. If a child is born in the Philippines and then the family is poor, he will have to, create a miracle for his life to be able to do good. Right? But if the child is born in Finland, he will get the best education in the world. So, all our opportunities for the future begins with the land of our birth. And then that realization came to me late. That realization came to me when I traveled, especially in richer countries like Korea. I went to Japan, I went to Australia. With the Filipino passport, I was always interviewed long in the immigration. I felt like they want to know that I am not a criminal, They want to know whether I would be planning to stay longer in their country. But the Americans who were with me, the Britons, the Japanese, once they saw the passport, no questions asked, go.
Yes.
Why are they doing that to me? But if you have not traveled, you will not understand what is discrimination. So I went to United Arab Emirates. I was always held. Why? Because I was Asian. So they thought that I will be staying in their country illegally. So they said, how long do you plan to stay? Only 3 days. I don't want to stay long in your country. Oh, because they said, yes, 3 days. Can I stay for more? So they will stop illegal entry. Because some people are denied entry in the airport. You arrive in their country and you are denied entry. There are even people who have stayed in the airport for 20 years without citizenship. Have you heard of those? There are even movies about that. Why? Because they were fleeing from their country. Because their country, like, for example, Syria, okay? They cannot return because there's war. And then they went to another country and then they were denied entry. So since they cannot get out of the airport because they are denied entry, they're looking for asylum, okay? What happened was that they had to stay in the airport for 20 years and no citizenship whatsoever. So we are happy that we are normal. We can sleep well at night every night. I don't anymore wish to be rich, but when I was a young boy, I always thought someday I will become rich. But when I saw the life of rich people, I said no. Never. Why? Their families are destroyed. They have no more time to bond together as a family. Because all of them are rich. All of them have cars. So they go separate ways. So they don't have breakfast together. They only come together for marriages and death. Yeah, and then after that, no more. And so I said, if I were a woman, I will not marry a rich man. Because he will have plenty of girls. But if I will marry a security guard, okay, he will always come to me at 6 o'clock in the evening. And playing with me for the night because he was bored for the whole day, waiting for the criminal that never arrived. Alright? So sometimes you can say that, everybody say this, be careful with the things you hate about yourself and the things that you like in other people. Because the things that you want to get rid are the ambitions of other people. Okay, for example, when we talk of freedom, right? What happened to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? They need to pay for $20 million security in 1 year. Because they cannot travel without the security. But us, who will kill us? They will be wasting their bullet in this body. Because they cannot get money from me. I am not a security threat. So we can just go anywhere. But to other people, they cannot. So in my country, one of the richest people is the Aquinos. So Chris Aquino, the daughter of our previous president who died, because she's very rich. But she also has a very rich disease, allergy. So she cannot be touched with other human beings or things like that. And her doctor only lives in Singapore. And she has to fly there to consult her doctor. For us, we will just gather weeds and then boil them and then drink. If you die, then the Lord is getting you. No problem. Right? So be happy with whatever you have. Because when everybody say this, go. If you are not rich, and you work hard, your future is bright. Because poor people are driven by their ambition to succeed. That's why when I see my students, and some of my students are rich, I would say, in 10 years things will change. Their life will go down, and these poor people, their life will go and rise. Because they know how to work, and they know how it is to be hungry, and they know how it is to produce food, that they will no longer be hungry anymore. So everybody say this. As teachers, my first duty is to teach my students the power of ambition. To have a vision of themselves much greater than who they are today. Right. And then you might say, but you know, these are not bright students. No. Can you show me your hand? Okay, go. If this is only my ability, go. Then probably I can only reach this far. Go. With ambition, which is very much higher, I can maximize my ability to reach there. So without ambition, I will remain at the bottom. Right? Because this is only what I can do. Okay, I will stay there. But if I have ambition, then I'll power myself to reach the top. Okay? Okay. So maybe it is colorful to share to you that I was a very poor student when I was in college. I didn't have food, so I know how it is to be hungry. So I prayed that I can be given food. So in my dream, I woke up one night, and then there was a voice that told me, you get out of the house because you are hungry. So I went out of the house, I went to the road, and then farther away there was one single building that was lighted. So I went into that building, only to find out that it was a funeral parlor. You know a funeral parlor? Where the dead people are kept, okay, and watched by their families. Yes. So I went inside and said, oh my God, so I'm sorry for myself. Why am I here? I only wanted food, but why am I having dead people here? And then there was an old woman who rose up and said, oh, are you the illegitimate son of my husband? Why are you here? I said, no. Probably we are related. Oh, I said, so sit here. Do you want milk? Do you want coffee? Okay, they have biscuit. And then she fed me. So I said, oh, there is food here. So after that, noon time, I go to the funeral parlor. The evening, I go there. And the morning, I also go there. And then people, you sit there. And then I go to the coffin. And then I know how to cry, even if I don't have the emotion. And then, no questions asked, they will just feed you. Is it not? That when you go to, dead people, the families will give you snacks and food. And so every day, my classmates would pray, please, Lord, give me a longer life. But my prayer is, Lord, somebody should die today. Otherwise, I'll no longer have food if nobody is dead. Okay. Yes, and then when my nephews were brought by me to my home place, I brought them to the funeral parlor, and then we also ate. And then they get angry, why are we eating here? There's plenty of dead people. This is how I live. And because of my sacrifices, I was able to feed you and give you a better life. You should remember that every time that you sleep in your air-conditioned room, every time you go to your exclusive school, I went through all of these in order to give you a better life. Because sometimes our young people don't anymore know how much sacrifices their parents had when they were growing. Okay. So back to the main studio. Did you enjoy my story? Okay. Okay. Back to the methodology. Okay. Please write this. To treat the data, you can do it manually or by software. That is for qualitative research. Okay. By software, you mean en vivo. Have you heard of that? En vivo.
Yes.
So, can you search for it? Capital N, capital V-I-V-O, en vivo. En vivo is a software that will treat and analyze the data for qualitative research. Okay. En vivo. Yeah. Can you free download? Free download for where? Okay. So you can use YouTube as a tutorial to ask to teach you how to go through using the software. And the other one is manual, right? Manual. What do you mean by manual? You do it by hand. And by hand, you can try Collizi method. Have you heard of Collizi? C-O-L-L-A-I-Z-I. Can you try to look for it? Collizi. C-O-L-L-A-I-Z-I method. That's it. Using Collizi's method of data analysis is a rigorous and robust qualitative method that the researchers use to find, understand, describe, and depict the experiences of their respondents. So using Collizi method of data analysis. Can you get this one? So it's very easy to do that. Go to YouTube and then have a headphone, a earphone, and then search for how to use Collizi method. Because that is the manual way to treat qualitative data. Because the mechanical way is by using the software in vivo. So if you are using Collizi method, say that in the methodology. If you are using in vivo, say that also in the methodology. Because if you don't use Collizi, if you don't use in vivo, so what are you using? We need to use standard ways of treating the data. Okay. So, can you open a new tab and then search for, how about you there? Okay. Step-by-step procedure in Collizi method. Can you search for that? Step-by-step procedure in Collizi method. And then the web will tell you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Step-by-step procedure in Collizi method.
7 step, right?
That's not the one.
Step by step procedure.
Step-by-step procedure in Collizi method. Pero, a modified Collizi 7-step method for data analysis. Just like that. You can even do it this way. Step-by-step procedure in Collizi method PPT. So what will the web give you? The PowerPoint. Okay, so can we put in PPT? Okay, search. Not clear, but PPT. It's there. The 7 steps. Okay, so we can just take that one. Okay, and then put it there. So step 1, read the retail protocol, extract significant statements, and then formulate meanings for each significant statement, extract significant statement, integrate results into exhaustive description of the phenomenon, formulate exhaustive description of the statement, and then we have number 7, return to participant for validation. So everybody say this. Your data and quality are considered unfinished unless validated by your sources. You You can have more of these when you go to YouTube because it explains each step. And I will no longer do so much of this one. But it is important that you know that there is such a thing as that. The Kulaise method of qualitative interpretation of data. Treatment and interpretation. Okay. So what are the two ways? Kulaise, the other one?
And we go.
And vivo. Okay. Now, after that, you're finished with the methodology. Okay, let's go back to the beginning, which is now the introduction. Okay. Do you know, are you aware that the first part of a research is always the introduction?
Yeah.
Alright, so I will tell you today what editors are looking for in your introduction. Okay, so would you like to learn about that?
Yes.
Okay, so there is what we call as select your favored logic in writing. So what's that? Select your preferred logic in writing. There are two kinds of logic when you write. One is called deductive
One in
and then the inductive. Okay. In the inductive, for example, you would say that in Santo Tomas University, there was an increase in the number of failures of the students to pass the board exams in the last 5 years. So you begin with the situation, which is a problem. Then they would say, this problem is not only unique to the Santo Tomas University, but shared also to other universities in the country. Okay, abroad, many countries also have a problem of failures in the board examinations. Right. In Europe, okay, so from a small place to the bigger. So we call that inductive. And when you go to the deductive method, you begin with a global statement, and then you go to continental situation, and then after that Southeast Asian situation, and then Cambodia situation, and then Phnom Penh, and then your PGRC. So if you do a research about PGRC and PGRC, then you begin with the world, the continent, and then, for example, can everybody say this? Okay, mentoring teachers is a global issue over the years. With the fast retirement of senior teachers, okay, very few people are mentoring young, new, inexperienced teachers. So that is a global situation. And then parenthesis, who said it, right? Then after that, in Europe, there is a crisis of this one. The same is true with Asia. Okay, this situation is also true in North America. Okay, and so what you are doing now, continental situation. That the problem of mentoring is not only in the world, but in different continents. In Southeast Asia, studies have shown that in Singapore, what happened in Indonesia, in the Philippines, okay, that's the next layer. And then in Cambodia, all right, and then in the new generation research pedagogical institute, that is the logic. Okay? All right. So, doing research is just like climbing a very tall building. Okay, anybody say this? If I stay on the ground, my eyes can only see this much. When I climb to the second floor, I will see more than when I was on the ground. When I will go to the 20th floor, I can see the entire city. If I go to the 60th floor, I can see other cities, including the seas, the oceans, and all the other places. So we call that perspective. So a good research should be able to take you from where you are to higher and higher, so that you will be able to develop a perspective that is higher than where you are. Okay. Now remember, that is in the introduction. But when you interpret your data results, for example, all right, everybody say this, the data show that the idea of producing mentors by the new generation pedagogical research center is also a felt need in Cambodia, in Southeast Asia, and in other continents. In parentheses, who said that? Okay, so which means that although the study is only here, but when you explain your results, you dialogue it with Cambodia, Southeast Asia, Europe, Australia, although your reference point is just here. So a tiny study in a small place, but when you discuss it, you dialogue it with the different layers until you see the world. So everybody say this, my small study is my window to see the world. That is why it's not good that when you study about the center, you begin with the center, you end with the center, there is nothing outside of the center. That's not good research. Okay, you begin with the center and then you go higher and higher and then you go to the world, and then when you go back to the center, you will see that there is much that you can say. Meaning, go, after my research, I can explain this center, I can explain Cambodia, Southeast Asia, the continents, and I can explain the world. That's what makes me a good researcher. So everybody say this, my data do not make me limited. It is only an airport in which my plane can fly to reach to another continent. So do not be imprisoned by your data. Your data is Cambodia, but your data is your airport that you can fly in your discussion up to the different continents of the world. That's the beauty. Even in my country, I am very sad to tell you that we have a bankruptcy of perspective, bankrupt. Because most of our researchers do not think this way. 99% of my people think that if they study the Philippines, it's all about the Philippines. And they do not have to relate that with other countries, with other continents, and with the whole world. And that makes research very, very limited. So today, that is my very strong message. So how do you do that? Literature search. Literature search. Okay. So I gave a training to the University of the Philippines, the best university in the country, in Cebu City, one of the campuses. And then I gave as an example the problem of migration and human trafficking. So I gave an example in Google Scholar, human trafficking, University of the Philippines, Cebu. And they were surprised that there were so many studies in their university, and these teachers even did not know that they have those studies. But the web has a record of that. So, migration, Philippines, migration, Cambodia, migration, Singapore, migration, Europe, migration, Australia. So you will begin to see the world from your research. Okay, so is that clear? Okay. So, after that, I think if there is a message to end my discussion of qualitative research, it is what we call as your personal take of the research. We call that the writer's position. Can you write that? Writer's position. The position of the one who writes. So the question is, of all the people, why me? studying this topic in quality. So there must be something that you can justify why you are doing that study. How are you connected to that? So for example, if I'm going to do a qualitative study of drug abuse, what could be a good writer's position? I might as well say that, okay, I lost one member of the clan to drugs and he died. So I have two nephews who also had problems with drugs. So on a personal note, this is an important problem, but that's why I'm doing it. We call that the writer's purpose. Because if you don't find any connection between your life and your family and your topic, what the hell are you doing here? In quantitative research, you are not required for that. Because you should be totally objective outside of your territory for research. Okay. Now, let me show you this. Everybody say this. In quantitative research, my instrument is my questionnaire. Do you agree? The questionnaire is your instrument. Say that. Next. In qualitative research, I don't have a questionnaire. I only have an interview guide. I don't have an instrument. Because my instrument is my person. I am the instrument. So basically, qualitative research is a highly subjective research type. Because my ability to extract information from you depends on your perception that I can be trusted, right? Because if you believe that I cannot be trusted, you will give me very little information. But if you believe that I can be trusted, you will give me all that you know. So I am the instrument. So how you conduct yourself in qualitative research is very, very important. Okay, I'll give an example now. Okay. You enter into a house, okay, and then go. I will not let my eyes roam around. Go. I will not let my eyes roam around. Because if I roam around the house, it means that I am sizing up their poverty. And that is not good. Right? When I enter into a house, especially for the house of the poor, I cannot bring mineral water. Because it only means to them that I do not trust their water. Right? So if I have to bring water, I put it in an opaque bag that cannot be seen. And then, no matter if there is bad odor around, I cannot do it this way. Because they will no longer trust me. And I cannot go there with pearls, with colored hair, with nice outfit and beautiful shoes. Because that would mean that your presence becomes intrusive. Can you emphasize the word intrusive? So which means that before you gather the data, you visit the community. What is the dominant color of their dress? Brown. Do not go there in yellow or pink. Because they will see you as somebody outside of their culture and they will not trust you. Get that point? So if no people there are wearing makeup, don't wear makeup when you go there. You have to blend in the crowd and recognize. Okay? And then if you go to the communities to gather the data for qualitative results, you don't even need to have skirt. If you have a long dress inside, you must have 2 layers of pants. Plus your rubber shoes. Why? Because if dogs will bite you, they will not penetrate the flesh. If there are snakes that will bite you, then it will not kill you instantly. Because I had that experience. I was bitten by a dog when I gathered data. Because the dog did not recognize me and I entered the household. So these are the dangers. So everybody say this, I have to look like them. And then talk like them. And be respectful of their culture. Even if I don't agree with what they do, I will show my appreciation of what they do. Because that is culturally sensitive. Can you write the term? Cultural sensitivity. So if you go to a community and they don't speak English, don't speak English to them. They will close their heart, they will close their door, and they will not talk to you. Okay? Alright. So any other questions regarding qualitative research? You might have some issues. Will you know if the person is telling the truth or not? Because in quality, you don't rely to an instrument, you rely to stories, answers. Okay. Sometimes you have suspicions that what is told to you is not correct, right? So everybody say this in quality. You don't mind if they're telling the truth or not. Because lies are data. Even if they lie to you, these are data. But later on in your triangulation, can you write the word triangulation? Triangu. Triangulatio. Triangulation is a method that will establish validity of the answers. Triangulation method. Here. Okay, so your respondent is telling you something that you suspect not to be true. And so you validate it with other people who know this person. Because if 5 people are telling opposite to this person, and some of the 5 people are part of her family, whom will you believe? The 5 people are just one. So that's part of triangulation. And then go. After the data are collected, say that. Okay, after the data are collected, we have to consult experts to make sense of our data. So for example, you will need to go to an office and you tell them, this is the data that we collect. From your perspective, what does this mean? So the meaning of the data from other experts are included in the analysis. So it's not purely your own. Because triangulation will reduce subjectivity. Why? Because you will now validate the information given with other people. So everybody say this. All data are valid. Because lies are data. And can be interpreted accordingly. For example, I went to a family and then they give me a totally different picture of their life. And so I asked the daughter, okay, your mother says this and that. Do you agree? No. Why do you think she says that? It's because she is hurt. She is pained, accepting the reality that we are poor. And so even in my family, sir, my mother doesn't tell the truth. Because the truth really hurts and she cannot accept the thing. That's data. Okay. Now, we go to what we call as editing your research. Editing. Please write this. Your first editor are your respondents. Your second editor are the experts who help you. Okay, so example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are my respondents, right? Yeah. And then I finished already my document. So I borrow like this. So this is the research. Okay, I'll go to you and I will tell you. Please read. And then those that you feel like were your answers, can you underline them? Because you can recognize that these were the words that you said. Now, if this will be returned to you and you do not underline, because you do not see any of your statements, you do not underline because the same. And so I am writing this excluding everything that you said, and that is wrong. That is why you need to have the first editor who are your respondents. Because if they underline so many, you understand so many, underline so many, that means one thing. And what is that? That you collected their stories and you included that in your study. Now you can say, no, sir, I didn't say this. Why did you say that, sir? I did not answer it that way. Oh. So in order to establish the validity of their answers, please write this. Use direct quotations in their native language. Okay. Everybody say this. I write the ideas in English, go. And then I will say, in the words of mother number 7, comma, she said, and then in Cambodian, how did she say it? And then period. So that gives honesty and credibility that you did not invent your interpretation because there is a support coming from a direct quotation. So everybody say this. Without direct quotation, it's difficult to tell it is quality. But there is a limitation. Everybody say this, go. When my article say that, will be published in Cambodia, statements in Cambodian are necessary. But when I publish abroad, and there are no more Cambodians there, everything will be in English. I will no longer include the Cambodian statements. Get the point? Because if it will be published in Africa, of what use is their Cambodian? They would not understand. So the Cambodian statement of the mother will now be in English, right? But when the journal will be, when the publication is